Yeah. Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. Wheels them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumping in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What's cracking? It is the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we here to give you this work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And yo, you know, that's what we do. And here we are once again after giving you guys a week of content. It's been a hell of a weekend in your house. I was just at Emerge this following weekend, and then of course we had our big season premiere episode that featured the veteran Jack Vaughn, who came in at number 300 on the PWI 500, and we had such amazing traction on that episode. Also, we had cameo appearances on that episode from everybody in the crew, from Paragon to Hypocrisy Jones, Grunmeister, and the voice Josh Joseph hosted with me. And we had a featured appearance from my co-host right here on our Wednesday show, and that is, of course, the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neil. But you can't have Howse without O'Neil. So, of course, I got to bring in the big dog herself. That is Annie O'Neil.
What's up, everyone? Howse and O'Neil. I'm giving it to you raw. A house. Oh my gosh, what a crazy week this has been. How about you?
Oh, it's been a busy week. The big dog Annie O'Neil back here in your house. It's been a busy week. Like I said, I had Emerge this past weekend, and it was great. Man, it was so nice to be back on the table again. That was a vibe. So it was just, and here's the thing, Annie, like, I know that you haven't been to an Emerge show yet. But where they have the commentary table at, it's right next to the ring. So you literally have the best seat in the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when you're calling the action, it is absolutely great. Emerge, check them out. That was Emerge 81. That was at moving forward on to Emerge 82, Thrills and Chills. That's October 5th.
October 5th.
Yes, that's going to be a movie. And I don't know if you saw, but they've
What was that main event?
Oh, yeah.
Announced? Please,
it's announced.
Tell them what that main event is.
Oh, I'm more than happy to do it, because the main event, once again, like we said, has been announced for Emerge, and you guys already know who he is. It is the leader of the tribe, the world's most dangerous game, the world's most dangerous podcaster, and that is Paragon, as he defends the Emerge World Heavyweight Champion against none other than TNA superstar himself. That is Jason Hotch, and that's gonna be a movie right there.
I don't know. Someone might call the fire marshal. Con, I don't know. Might happen.
They might happen. They might have to. That's gonna be crazy right there. And we're definitely gonna talk more Emerge as the weeks go on, and that's gonna be great. But Annie, I gotta ask you, as I always do, you know, you was in motion, I was in motion. This last weekend, it was just like vibrations was heavy because everybody was on the move. So I always gotta ask, especially after a weekend like this last weekend, how has your last week been?
You know what? It's been peaks and valleys. You know, sometimes you're at the top, but when you're at the bottom, you find out who you are. How much are you willing to go the distance to really see what you're made out of? It's just really nice to be in that season where it's the harvest, you know.
Yes.
I'm reaping the fruits of my labors. My friend, she has this amazing event that she just put on. It's called Dontra Grappler. It's weed meets jujitsu. Can't get better than that. But right after I jumped on the house call, actually with everyone, 25 seconds into the first match, a guy dislocates his kneecap.
Whoa!
Wasn't where it should be.
Ooh.
Like, it was wild. Like, as someone who has sustained knee injuries, like, whew, it was wild. But I mean, the show goes on, right? And he's doing well now. And
good.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful day on the water with some jiu-jitsu. Can't get better than that. And here we are. We're doing the thing. We're putting that W in house, right?
That's right. W is for work, and that's exactly what we're about to give them here, Annie, because we got to give them that raw deal with Howse and O'Neal. And
let's give it to them.
Let's do it. Annie, this was a really good episode. I know you had some thoughts on it, so I just want to come out and ask you, what were you thinking about this past week's Monday Night Raw as a whole?
You know what? On the whole, it was a really good episode because the transition times between the pay-per-views, sometimes they can really be rough. Like you're just waiting for those big moments that always happen on a big event, and we're just waiting for the outcomes that we're betting on. But this was a really nice pace. Everything was moved along swimmingly, and it was a really great opportunity for the stakes to be raised even higher. And I was on board every match. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay, that's solid. That's solid.
Yeah.
See, I could definitely see why you would say that. This was a big episode, it feels like. And we got our guys here in the chat. I gotta acknowledge the chat before we go further here in the game. The voice saying 3 more followers is all we need for the 50 mark. We want to get 3 more followers on Twitch, so that way
absolutely.
We want to get affiliated. We want to get some affiliation. Grunge saying that we got it. I know, bro. He is streaming later, y'all.
What's up, guys?
check out Grunmeister. He is streaming. Voice is gonna be there with him.
Heck yeah.
We got a follower moving, and this great new look. We're loving the energy. We're loving the energy, and we got this great new look here. Thanks to the voice, Josh Joseph. Look at that down there.
This overlay is awesome.
I know it's sick, ain't it?
Look,
it is sick.
Everyone puts that W in house. They really do.
That's what it takes. It takes it really just takes a team, and that's exactly what is brought here at In Your House.
And how about that past episode of Window Lickers?
Oh,
Fire.
Excellent.
Fire.
It's just, with the addition of the Chaos Goblin, Kevin Calloway, he just, and I said this to him. I told him, I was like, man, you speak so eloquently. Like, I love listening to him talk. He speaks so well. So like the addition to what was already a good 2-man team between Voice and Grun, you have him in there as the third chair, and it just really rounds that show out really well. I love it.
Like a human PowerPoint.
Yeah. I really.
What it reminds me of. Only he doesn't need it. I do. I need all the help I can get. But Kevin, something unnatural. I mean, you never know what you're going to get from Chaos, but. The third point of the triangle. I love it. I love it.
Yes, definitely brings that last piece of the puzzle energy for sure, and I love it. I love it. A lot of big things going on, and we're definitely going to get into that. But we got to get into Monday Night Raw, Annie, because so much things moving. Like you said, you made a lot of good points. Me and you was kind of going back and forth as the show was going on, and then a little bit the next day. And man, let's start here with CM Punk, because CM Punk comes out, and I know we've said it before, and I know we brought that energy up, that he's just looking really great. But
didn't
now,
he look battered?
Say again?
Didn't he look battered?
He did. And listen. I'm gonna go ahead and just bring it up.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it here. This is off of the official YouTube of WWE, so we can't play it for that long, but it's a little bit of what CM Punk was talking about here. And
this was a different version of CM Punk.
It was. It's definitely a different version of CM Punk that we haven't seen before, and it's interesting because let me bring the right video up here. What are we doing? But but CM Punk he brings a unique energy, and we saw it there as he's talking a little bit about. Here it is here.
In my career, where sometimes people ask me how many matches do I have left in these old bones, and depending on how you feel about me, the answer is either
is this like a subconscious
disappointing
admission of
or
weakness?
it makes you tremendously happy, because the answer is way more than you think.
I like the cadence in the promo.
Right.
Definitely
Like,
a more
he sounds
serious
like one of those
feel.
dudes who's seen some shit.
Yeah.
When I came back to the WWE, I said I did not come here to make friends.
This is the big line. This is a big line.
Necessarily
Right.
mean that I came here to make a mortal enemy, but that's exactly what I have done. So much
Right
so
there. That's the one right there.
that the only
That's
way to
that's definitely. So I want to stop it right there because that
Yeah.
line was heavy to me. That line was super heavy to me when he said, and I remember him saying it. I came back to make money. I didn't come to make friends. And he definitely made a mortal enemy in Drew McIntyre, so much that this blood feud is culminating to, of course, Bad Blood and Hell in a Cell. Once again, like that promo there, his completely different cadence from CM Punk that you know we've seen from him before. What did you think of that, Annie? Because that stood out to me that he's like, all right, he's feeling the vibe that this needs to be taken seriously because it is Hell in a Cell.
You know, I really appreciated the imagery that he spoke on in this promo. You know, he talked about a lot of angels and demon and devils.
Yeah.
So, and you know, every human being is on that spectrum somewhere, both good and evil. And depending on your motivation, sometimes you can become the devil himself, and that's exactly what CM Punk alluded to. And I really liked how the language he chose. It really built up what Hell in a Cell will be in just a few short weeks. This was a really, I don't know if it was shocking, but it was a very unsuspecting version of Punk. I don't know if I've ever seen before. Like, what are your thoughts on what he said?
He brought up everybody telling him not to do it. Mm-hmm. Everybody that was telling him, oh, my wife saying I shouldn't do it. The angel on my shoulder is telling me I shouldn't do it. And he talked about his age, like you referred to during the promo. Is this an admission of weakness because he's getting up there in age? But I think those things that he said and why I agree with OG Tony here, where he was saying it's one of his best promos that he's ever done, is because what it did, Annie, is it sold the seriousness of the cell. It sold like the serious of the cell. It was serious. You knew that it was time to dig into a different animal, a different beast, a different, completely different animal, because and I love it because the Hell in a Cell, the cell itself, should be treated with seriousness.
He said he was prepared to die. How do you try and change the decision making in someone who is already committed to that outcome coming to fruition? You don't. You only motivate them more. The more you try and sway them, the more you just push them down that path. And I don't know if you can contend with a man who has nothing to lose. He said he was prepared for his heart to stop beating. And he said he had a great career, and if this is the end, then so be it. I mean, we've seen the lengths that Drew McIntyre is willing to go, but this was not the same CM Punk we saw in that promo while he addressed he wanted to go after the world heavyweight or the world title.
And now he's not moving in that direction at all right now.
different human being.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had this image of like two samurais who completely hate each other, and they are going to war at dawn.
Yeah.
And there will only be one who leaves that death scene. This was a really interesting way to start Raw. It really was. It was. I feel like he's ready to sign his death certificate.
He don't care.
He doesn't.
Like he literally doesn't care anymore. Like this man is in kamikaze mode, ladies and gentlemen. Like he does not care. He just knows that he's going into the war of his life, and this feels like one of the bigger Hell in a Cell matches in a long time. And I know I don't know if you remember the Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes Hell in a Cell match, where Cody went into the match with his arm. I think he'd had a injury, and it was just like, I forgot what it was. I think something in his arm. I mean, but it was bruised up real bad. That was one of the... Yes,
I remember. It was like his chest meat was hanging off of his chest.
It was ugly.
It wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. And still he did that match, which was crazy. Like, I'm
feeling
vibes of like, couldn't be me. But I'm feeling vibes of like, that's the bigness that I'm feeling in this match. So like, I guess I want to ask you, do you feel like that this match is like the big one? Like, there ain't no match bigger in Bad Blood than this one, right?
I mean, is there anything bigger than Hell in a Cell? I just don't know if this cell could contain both of them. Both of these people have sworn vendettas against each other, and it's only going to end in blood.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any more than that. I really don't. I mean, it's wrestling. I'm sure it's possible. I mean, it's possible in soap operas, and this is... anything is game at this point, Con. It really, really, really is.
Yeah, and we're going to see Drew McIntyre return next week, so we're going to see what he has to say. And OG Tony asked a question here: does this main event?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think it should.
Know.
I think it should. So? I do. What's the card right now? Hang on. Let's. As a matter of fact, I'm pulling up the Bad Blood card right now, and we're about to figure this out right here, right now.
I think it would, to open the show, I think it would be Rhea and Liv. I think that's the only other thing.
So you think that opens the show?
You know what? It could. I do think that the women's title match will open the show.
Ooh, I don't know. Whoa. You might be right. You might be onto something there, Annie, because I'm looking at the card now via Wikipedia. Cody and Roman, I forgot about the Cody and Roman versus Bloodline match. Yeah, that's more than likely going to main event. So okay. With this, see, I'm a reasonable man. I can change my mind based on new facts that have been presented to me. I'm with you now. I don't think that I don't think that the Hell in a Cell main event's Roman's main eventing for sure.
right, absolutely, yeah.
And
I don't know if I feel like the momentum behind this storyline is dying. I mean, I do think it's a compelling storyline. I really do. But I feel like the crowd support behind it, it's moving in an opposite direction. So I feel like the smart move would be for this to wrap up with a Hell in a Cell.
So we've been talking about this for a little bit now. It's kind of been kind of lightweight the conversation we've been having for the last couple of weeks is them moving away from each other just because I want to see CM Punk do other things. I want to see Drew McIntyre do other things. They've been affiliated for the last year.
Right.
I'll tell you this. It's after this Hell in a Cell match, it's got to end. It has got to end because if you do it more after that, it is because we're both feeling that vibe that it's like the bread's getting a little stale, things are getting a little bit stale, kind of. But if they do this past Bad Blood, definitely stale. It's going to be stale, and everybody's going to be like, "Nah, we're not feeling this no more." You got to be gentle with the feud like this,
or the storyline has to go in a completely opposite direction to give it some juice.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. Many possibilities that they can go with, but at the end of the day, I think that if you were to go out there and ask people's opinions as far as what they want to see, I think the generalized opinion would be, I kind of want to see them go and do something else. Maybe Drew fight for the heavyweight championship. Maybe Punk can do it, or maybe they just, I don't know how you separate them from each other from that, but it's got to be done after Bad Blood. I know that for sure.
I mean, because because Punk's injury, it really did set him back.
It did.
It really did kill the momentum that was really, really, really supporting him. So it has the trigger has to be pulled now. I really do feel like that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with that. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens, but we're gonna move on here a little bit because I was chilling out. I was enjoying my day off, getting some stuff done, so I throw on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat McAfee was doing his thing, being Pat McAfee in the only way that he can, and he broke some news that Sheamus had signed an extension with the WWE. So I mentioned that to you, and I guess I wanted to bring it up because Sheamus is in this feud with Pete Dunne, and Dunne ended up getting a big win over Sheamus, and so that was pretty big. What do you think as far as Sheamus's role with the company at this point? Can we see him maybe put more gold around his waist, or is he going to start being more of like one of those legitimately upper mid card guys that's starting to kind of help guys that are finding their way on the card get a little bit of legitimacy by picking up surprise wins over him?
You know, I think he finds himself at an interesting fork in the road. I definitely see there could be an IC run.
Yeah.
Because he has had a really successful program with Pete Dunne. Everything that they've been doing, I've been a fan of for the past couple of months. And you know, he could go back to NXT and build other people up.
That'd be interesting.
But I really do feel like either move would be good for Sheamus. I mean, but you want people like Sheamus who's going to have a really good, successful run and bring people up along the way. Like, those people are invaluable. And, you know, and I don't think anything is taken away from him if he helps other people get over. Sheamus is a really good opponent to help sharpen your skill set with. And no matter what, he can pull greatness out of anyone. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's
and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he got another extension. I mean, like he is another person who does what Finn Balor does. He helps other people alongside him and makes them look like $1 million.
Yeah, no, that's true. I you know, with everything that's going on in the WWE, it's great to still see somebody like Sheamus have such a prominent role. I also like to see somebody like Pete Dunne who's really moving in a unique way right now. And him and Lyra Valkyria, they're both kind of doing the same thing, working both Raw, NXT. What are you thinking about that?
You know, I think that their opportunities are only expanding. And the more that you show that you are capable of doing more will be given to you. I think it's really awesome that Lyra gets to go back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
she has that unique ability in her skill set where she's going to come together with people who have different styles and just give A-list matches. And the same with Pete Dunne. You know, I think he's a badass. So you're going to pull different things from different people along the way. You never know what you're going to get with Pete Dunne, and he brings just an interesting fusion to whoever he works with. And I think it's I mean,
Yo, we got 50 in
we
this
got
episode.
50!
Wow.
Wow.
That was quick.
We're doing that thing. We're doing that thing.
Nice.
Absolutely. Heck
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah. We appreciate y'all. That's exactly what we wanted to get to. We've been trying to
Thank
get to
you.
that for a little minute. So thank y'all. We appreciate it. And it's all a part of the work that we do here in your house. So now we have the opportunity to give you guys a little bit more content. Well, different avenues that we can take with that. But it's definitely something that we needed to get to. But you have OG Tony saying that there's and I'm not sure if he's talking about Pete Dunne or if he's talking about Sheamus, but you could really refer to either one and be like, yeah, these guys are workhorses. So that's definitely easy to think about. But yeah, when and we'll stay with workhorses because we actually saw a match between somebody who I definitely consider a workhorse, and I know you do too, and that's Natalya, and she went up against somebody who I've always been a fan of and think that she could be in that workhorse role, and that's Zoe Stark. What did you think of that match?
This match and the other women's match that was on the card that night are prime examples that why women's wrestling is being put on the map even further.
Yeah.
Just excellence after excellence in their movement and their reaction and their timing. Like, they put the professional in professional wrestling. Like, just the stats that Joe Tessitore was listing off about Natty, like, he didn't stop. Like, she holds the most matches for any female competitor, holds the record for most wins for a female competitor.
A legitimate workhorse.
Zoe Stark, for her 30th televised match this year, like, these women are doing it.
Amazing.
Like,
just amazing.
I really, really appreciated Zoe's springboard dropkick.
Oh, she's clean.
Phenomenal. Just like her perfect execution. It was gross. It was gross how good it was in the best possible ways. But just Natty's offense, like, hit after hit after hit. Like, Natty isn't the tallest person. She's a pretty stocky female, but
yeah,
it's so funny how someone who doesn't take up a lot of space, her big boot was gross. Like, I was thoroughly entertained with this match.
Yeah, super. I mean, they're all super talented, and both matches were great. But Zoe Stark, I mean, I've just always been a fan of her work in the ring. So then for her to go up in the match against somebody who, like I said, is a workhorse like Natalya is, and you see them kind of going to work here in these highlights here. And this is exactly the wrestling that I thought that I was going to see between these two. That's why this match was definitely something that I noticed, and I thoroughly enjoyed this style of wrestling between these women. But we can't talk about that one and not talk about the other women's match, because my God, I mean,
I want to be like Bianca Belair when I grow up. I really do.
So real quick, with Bianca Belair being like part of the tag team and not really being as featured like in the main event as she was a couple years ago, I was like, yo, I forgot what she can actually do. And her and Io Sky, I mean, the crowd was appreciating it. They loved it. The crowd was into it, as they should be. Why would they not be? It was
Did you
just
get an air of like unfinished business in this match?
Oh yeah.
Like it was unspoken. Do you want to expound on that?
You know, it's because here's the thing, and I like what they did on commentary, because even they said, they were like, Bianca Belair, who rarely loses, gets shocked and picks up, and like I think there's, so basically I think it's going to lead to those two, or those four getting back into the tag team mix for sure. But I think somewhere down the line you can definitely call back a match between these two, because there is that win, and Bianca Belair, who during her run, especially her historic run as a women's champion, like it's been utter dominance, and it's almost kind of like it harkens to Gunther a little bit, where it's like, I don't like any smudges on my resume. I'm going to come back and I'm going to right that wrong. I think that it's something that they won't call back to immediately, because I think what they're going to be moving into is the tag team titles between Damage Control and two of the big three, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. But I think definitely that's something you can call back to down the line. Maybe around Royal Rumble time, maybe around that. It's a lot of different things you can do. But yeah, I think eventually we can go back to that, and I think that there is a story to be told there.
Because Bianca and Io, they have personal history, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they got a lot of history with each other, even like going back to like NXT and whatnot. So like it's interesting that they would do that. I gotta be honest, I didn't expect Bianca to lose. I really did expect Io to win, especially in the way, because it looked like that Bianca had it in the bag, and then she
did,
and then she turned it into that small package, and I was like, oh snap, because I thought that was just gonna be a transition.
Wrestling.
It was really good.
I did not expect. Well, I mean, I was not surprised that Io could slip out the back door like that, but I didn't expect it, and that's what made it even more satisfying. Just the physical athleticism displayed by these two women in this match, like that 450 that Bianca went for, and at the right time, like Neil shoots her knee up. That was what was happening. This amazing display of physics had me on the edge of my seat, and when Io gets to the top rope, she's unstoppable. So, but were you really surprised when Bianca caught her?
You know, I wasn't surprised so much, but what surprised me more than anything else was during that match, and after, and like you saw the facial expressions from Bianca at the end of it, it reminded me of the Io Sky who could be the women's world heavyweight champion. It reminded me of the Io Sky who's been an NXT women's champion. The biggest thing with me with this is that with these two women going up against one-on-one, I knew that on paper it was a good match. I didn't think that they were going to actually do that on a Monday Night Raw. I really didn't. I didn't think they were going to let them go balls to the wall like that.
And they did. Like, there was one point where Io climbed to the top rope, and then Bianca shoulder presses her, a grown-ass woman. Like, I was choosing my protein pump to the strong woman that is Bianca Belair. Like,
she's amazing.
She really is. And, did you hear any This Is Awesome chants from any other match on the card?
I did not, and I as soon as I heard that This Is Awesome chants, because I think I was watching the match, and I'm just trying to like really put the match together like in my mind, and I was like, oh, they're going, and as soon as I said right there in the living room, I was like, oh, they're going. That's when the This Is Awesome chant started. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I always like a good spine buster. At some point in the match, there was a really good spine buster that was done by Bianca Belair, and I just enjoy that. I don't know, it was giving me like kind of Ron Simmons type vibes. So like,
What?
I just thought the match was good.
What do you think was going through the mind of Io Sky as she was being hoisted vertical suplex style while going up the steel staircase?
Oh, at that point in the match,
That was
man,
Whew.
it's and
like I said, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
No,
And I would trust Bianca in all situations like that. I would, but like I said, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
So I think we're both in agreement that this is both of our match of the night. I mean,
It was.
It's
It
pretty
really
easy,
was.
right? And they did such a great job. I think, and this is what this episode was. It was a good mix between like really good matches and good storytelling. And you talked a little bit earlier. You talked a little bit earlier about that really great episode of the Window Lickers that they did with the voice Josh Joseph and Grunmeister and Kevin Calloway. And I kind of wanted to pull something from over there and kind of continue that conversation.
Absolutely.
Just because we were all kind of in that same, and we do two different shows, so it's like it's them and then it's us, and they show prep differently than what we show prep, and
Right.
and but we were all in agreement by complete accident that it seems like as much as we love the Wyatts, as much as we love the Wyatt Six, there needs to be some separation because I believe it was Kevin who brought up, what are we gonna do with American Made? And we've all been kind of talking and like, dang, what is American Made gonna do? Because all they're doing is eating losses. And we all kind of agreed that it was like it's time to move away from each other. Well, Annie, that is exactly what they did, or at least what they intended to do on Monday Night Raw, as American Made, Chad Gable, the Creeds, and Ivy Nile cut a ridiculously crazy promo on a tank for whatever reason, and we're moving past it. We're strong, American strong, yada yada yada, all that fun stuff. But the main thing that we take from it is that they made their intentions clear that they're looking to move on from the Wyatts, and I thought that was an interesting conversation from Window Lickers. I wanted to get your thoughts on what they thought about that, and then what happened right after they had that conversation is that American Made's intentions are to move away.
Right. It was really important that White Six had this strong, formidable opponent to help build them up. But at the same time, they ended up being a great faction.
Yeah.
So, and it's indirectly a byproduct of building up the Wyatt Six that they could potentially fall into obscurity. And, I really don't want that to happen to American Made, because they have all of the moving parts to make a great whole. They really do. And I just want to say on the sidebar that I feel like they are the stereotype of Americans that a lot of people from different countries perceive Americans as.
Right. Yeah.
I just want to say that. I just think that's hysterical. But I was thinking about this and what American Made could potentially do after the Wyatt Six, and I feel like it might be a good point to pivot toward the LWO.
Okay. All right.
I mean, in times past, there have been, storylines driven on America versus this country.
Yep.
So,
oh yeah.
We got the moving parts. LWO is a solid faction in and of themselves. They are incredibly proud of their Mexican heritage. So, what better point in time than to pit that against American Made? I'm just saying.
Hey, that's good.
There's money there.
I like that. That's really good, and it gives the LWO something to do, and they sorely need something to do.
They really do.
And yeah, no, I like that. So we have the new intentions made by American Made, and everything that is moving with that. And Let's check it out. I just want to sit up here and check it out and get your thoughts on it. American Made making their intentions clear that they're moving in a different direction.
Well, here we are. After months of living in my own personal hell, being stalked, mocked,
Like that culty
abandoned,
CrossFit
tortured,
gym.
and you all thought that'd be the end of Chad Gable. But I'm still standing.
That's exactly why you little pencil neck geeks will never be on the same
It's
level
not
of greatness
pencil neck
that
geeks.
we're all on, baby.
Oh, that
No
laugh is
more
already
loony
annoying.
bin inmates, a bunch of weirdos that traded in their wrestling boots for medical
I
grip
wonder if they
socks.
can grow a full beard.
Do you hear me? You
Any of
can't
these
kill
numbers.
Chad Gable. You can't kill the American spirit. And you can't kill American Made.
We're done with those 5150 freaks. It's time to bring respect and honor back to the ring.
We don't quit. We don't surrender. And we don't run from history.
America.
We make history.
America. All right.
America.
All right. What'd you
All of a
think of
sudden,
that?
I'm feeling a little patriotic. They are the embodiment of a culty CrossFit gym that won't stop emailing you. No, I don't want to do CrossFit. No, I don't feel like it serves me any functional purpose. I like my wrists. No, thank you. Leave me alone about my box jumps. I don't care.
Oh my gosh. He said pencil neck geeks. I can't remember the last time I heard somebody say that. What? I like what, so I think that is Brutus. I think that's Brutus. I gotta say, he's got some personality. Julius, not as much. And Ivy, I think that she can find her lane, but Brutus, I don't know. He was just especially annoying with the laugh and pencil neck geeks.
I wanted to
He
kick
stuck
him
out
in
to
the
me.
shin. I want him to get hit with an errant in the shin bone with an errant razor scooter.
Oh, ouch. But that's the vibe that he gave off. He's just like, ugh. Like, I was already like, oh, this guy's
But
annoying.
I love it though. I like it though.
Yeah.
That's something like that makes me pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like people, they are more in connection with how easy it is to hate someone
Yeah.
over how easy it is to like someone. But that's just how we're primed, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I dig it. We'll move on from the segment where we collaborated and kind of was feeling vibes there with the window lickers as far as the discussion that they had, and we kind of continued it. But I want to ask you this because I believe it came up. What do you want to see the Wyatt Six do next? I do want to bring up the fact that there was a segment with Nick Aldis, general manager of SmackDown, where there was a Wyatt logo in the background of one of those backstage segments. Do you think that the Wyatts are going to pivot to SmackDown, and what do you think is in their future if they do?
I didn't know that. That's something I actually missed and you brought to my awareness, so thank you for that. But I feel like they are planting the seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you think that they can accomplish in Raw, and against whom?
My idea was Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is all tied up, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
I mean, and would we really want to see them go against Final Testament?
No. I honestly think they're scrapping that because if you notice, they haven't been on TV for a while. I think they're over it.
And I feel like it's a smart idea to pivot, especially when they still have the momentum behind Wyatt Six.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think they brought up an interesting point. I think it may have been Grun, I believe, because I was listening to the episode a little bit earlier, and Phantasma, Elgato Phantasma would be, I think, a good pivoting point for the Wyatt Six over on SmackDown. Staying
What
with
is
the whole,
that?
it stays with the whole family theme. They kind of had a conversation about it where they were like, they had the hurt heel situation, and it seems like that where Bray where Bray would be in a feud with somebody and they'd come on the other side of it completely different, or like they took a poison within them. It feels like that Uncle Howdy, is like the healer. And like you take these broken families, and now look, after the feud is over, American Made is even stronger than what they were before. What if it's a situation where he is a healer and he takes Fantasma, El Gato del Fantasma, and makes them stronger as a family? And I think that there's a story in that for sure, that maybe where Bray was the hurt, Uncle Howdy was the heal. So I think that was interesting.
Ooh, yeah. I can absolutely see that. I can't wait to see what comes of this next.
Yeah, it's most definitely interesting for sure. But we got to take a break. We got to pay a few bills here. We still have a lot of Judgment Day things to talk about, and that's where we're going to throw the analysis over to Annie for some Annie analysis, dig a little bit deeper into her thoughts on what's going on with the Judgment Day. Guys, we're going to do that on the other side of this break.
Exciting things are happening at the Kokomo Press. Yeah, very exciting things. Not only are we bringing you comedy shows, an open mic once a week, skits, videos, funny jokes on our page, and satire news stories, but now you can support us by going to kokomopress.shop. It's that simple. You go to kokomopress.shop, you find a t-shirt, you find a hat, maybe in the future some stickers and some posters. You go on there, you buy one of those from us, and percentage of the proceeds will go to us and help support what we do. We appreciate every person who just likes, subscribes, does all that. But if you go to kokomopress.shop and you buy something, we'll know who you are. You send us a photo of it. We will post it on our page and shout it out. Thank you so much. Go to kokomopress.shop, buy all your shirts and hats needs, and support the Kokomo Press. Thank you guys so much. kokomopress.shop.
Hello everyone, it's the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love Alive charity. I wanted to take this brief moment to share with you my charity's continued humanitarian efforts to positively impact the impoverished communities in and around the greater Jacksonville area. This cannot be possible without your support. If you'd be so kind, please take a moment to visit our website, love-alive.org, to learn more about the charity and its mission. Also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether that be by website or via Cash App, $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others as we continue to positively influence many people by being the change that we wish to see in the world.
Welcome back to In Your House, and you guys already know who it is. It is the Concept Alacon House with the big dog, divinely designed Annie O'Neill, and of course, we want to always ask Annie what's going on, see who we can get out of Annie. We want to dig a little bit deeper, and you know, this Judgment Day storyline has been getting really deep between Rhea Ripley, between Liv Morgan and Damian Priest, and my gosh, it's just been such a big twist with everything going on. Finn has kind of immersed himself a little bit more into the story after the news that we heard about. He was the bug in Dominic Mysterio's ear telling him to leave Rhea and go for a Liv. It has been such a big twist and turn with this storyline, and I know that it's made you feel different ways here, Annie, so I felt like it was time to kind of get your deep dive into the analysis of the Judgment Day storyline. That is Annie Analysis. What do you got?
You know what? I think it's important in cases like this to go back to the facts, Con. I mean, who had the key card to Liv's hotel room?
He swooped that thing up.
He really did. And you said it before. The person to keep your eye on is Finn Balor.
Yeah, yep.
You know, humans are very interesting under the circumstance in which they, they're facing. Everyone adds a different dynamic to the mix. I feel like Finn Balor felt like he has taken the back seat for a very long time. But when you don't talk about the things that you sit with, it breeds resentment, animosity. What you perceive might not actually be correct. So when you feel ill will towards another person, we have to investigate why. You know, if Finn was holding any type of resentment towards Damien, it's his burden to carry to bring that to the light.
Yeah.
Because would we be in this situation with the Judgment Day divided and now reformed had it been for the fact that Finn could have easily had a conversation?
That man, yep.
Was it worth dividing what you perceived as a family for your own inaction? It takes a lot to look yourself in the mirror and come to terms with the fact that you are your own problem. Not a lot of people can say, this is my fault. In fact, we've seen it in other cases, like Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
So would we be in the circumstances we are if we read the writing on the wall? You know, like, family is hard. Family's challenging. And the attachments we have with other humans drive us to do unimaginable things. But sometimes things have to change.
Vodka soda.
And that's okay.
With Wheatley.
If you have a so-called family unit, you talk about things. You're willing to have hard conversations. You're willing to check the people that you love.
Yep.
Because if it's worth that resentment, you are responsible for it. And at this, like, you know, some things are bound to break. Families fight. But sometimes we're the cause of that.
Hey, that is a good point. And, like, I think that it's a lot of interesting twists and turns with this storyline for sure. So I'm going to bring it up right here and just play a little bit of the conversation backstage between those two and really dig a little bit deeper into it.
A chance to speak.
Well, now you have the chance, Finn.
Okay, well, here goes. I really feel like you're just as bad as Damien Priest. You said that we were a family. You acted like you cared. But in reality, the only thing you ever cared about was yourself. And I'm sick and tired of you blaming me for everything that's gone on with the Judgment Day. You and Damien are the reason why I wasn't world champion last year. You and Damien are the reason why neither of you are world champion now. You and Damien are the reason for everything that's happened in the last 3 months with the Judgment Day.
Okay, what we're not gonna do here is lie blatantly to my face and try to rewrite history to hide your little ego problems, okay?
Oh, damn.
Because we were a family. All I ever did was try to make opportunities for all of us and stop you boys from fighting every single bloody week because I loved my family. But if you want to make me and Damien the bad guys in your fictional little story, then so be it.
I'm going to stop it right there because I brought that line up earlier about right there. And, like, I know you felt that too, right? Like, the emotions coming off her were heavy.
And it sounded like a whole lot of projection from Finn Balor.
It did.
Like, when you shift that responsibility, you lose all power that you have. It's something telling him from the inside that he's not the champion. And it's his inadequacies projecting onto other people who honestly love him. That is Finn's responsibility to share. That's his, not anyone else's. You know, if you feel the need to blame and, I don't know, erode the fabric of the foundation you stand on, that's your own fault.
It's this is exactly why I wanted you on that specific storyline, because the twists and turns, the emotions, everything, it's like a deep dive into the psyche, you know, and like there's a lot of things and things that are moving with the storyline, and I really like it. I like that aspect of what's happening with the WWE, and I want to keep it with that psychological type aspect because are we? I said it to you when I inboxed you about Raw. Is the New Day over? Is this over? Because it's feeling like closer and closer that it's over, and I wanted to have a conversation about that. We don't have to really dig deep into it, but it's something that they have been kind of lightweight building, even in lieu of the Final Testament falling off, all the allegations around Odyssey Jones. They've still held tight with this storyline. So, like, what do you think is going to happen? Because I mean, X, he completely exploded on Kofi on Monday Night Raw. What's your thoughts?
I was very worried for Xavier Woods. He seemed like the person who was about to have an emotional spiral. I was genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the match, he seemed like he was trying to put his reservations aside in order to do business with his friend. But at the end, when everything fell as it did, he was unhinged. And, you know, this is another thing. Like, could these things be misperceived from Xavier Woods? Could these things be just bypassed with a conversation?
Yeah.
If something looks like this in my head, is this really occurring? You know, I would be mad too if my friend didn't clue me into the game plan. I would probably be pissed off. But are things on the surface really what they seem? Are they really that deep? Could it be the fact that something Xavier Woods has, you know, he's going through something emotionally and he's taking it out on people who just want to support him?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I want to ask you this, because I think there's a couple of different ways that you can go with it. Do we break up the New Day? Oh, well, I'll ask you this. I want to ask it a different way, because there's been some speculation, a little lightweight speculation, not anything to really write home about, that like Big E might come back and complete the group again. And I guess I'd like to ask you this. What would you sooner like to see? Would you like to see X turn heel and kind of go do his own thing and try to see what he can do? Or would you like to see a cleared Big E, a medically cleared Big E, come back and be that third vibe in the New Day that could lead them to possibly more tag team gold or something? There'll definitely be energy if a cleared Big E comes back and helps the New Day. But what would you rather see, I guess, is my question.
I want to see all of it, and I'll tell you how. I think X would have a really amazing singles run, especially if he comes out as a heel. I would love to see that. I want to see what he does outside of New Day. But then I want to see Big E return, medically cleared, and I want him to align with Kofi to get the family back together.
Hey, you know, I like that. That's having your cake and eating it too, right there, Annie. And I'm not mad at it in the slightest bit. I think that's a good idea. That's a good thought. I just wanted to have that little conversation real quick about the New Day, just because what's happening with them is definitely moving the needle. But we still got a couple of things to talk about here. And one thing I had to make sure we talked about is this right here. And like, so are you a Family Guy watcher at all? You watch Family Guy from time to time?
You know, I really haven't gotten into much Family Guy. I really haven't.
Okay.
I know vague references here and there, but
okay. So you know when Peter would fight with the giant chicken?
No.
You don't know all the giant chicken fights?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Okay. So I'll say this. So basically, anytime they saw each other, it was on and popping. It was smoke. There was it was business picking up every time they saw each other, and they would always scrap. And I say that to say this is that that's the type of energy I want to see from Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman from here on out, because anytime these guys see each other, it's on and popping, it's cracking, and like the interaction that they had on Monday Night Raw was just complete and utter chaos. Humans got thrown, literal fans got thrown. I mean, the top of the top rope got destroyed and pulled down. The ringside area was destroyed. Gorilla position, backstage area. This was just an all-out scrap brawl, and I loved every single second of it, Annie.
Kaiju versus kaiju. Like, not even a ring could contain them, and you saw that when the rope snapped out of the turnbuckle. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Have you seen that before? I haven't.
It was wild. It was wild. The way that it built up is what stood out to me, because they started their ringside area. The match nothing happened. Like nothing. It wasn't even. It was just a scrap. Everybody's trying to stop them. They're getting thrown through tables. They went through a wall. I mean, this is what's going on, is that it's just going to be chaos with Bronson Reed every single time. And that, for me, that's making him must watch to me. But my God, just the destruction, it's a great vibe. And I think that it's a great contrast to the serious storytelling that you're seeing with CM Punk, to the amazing in-ring action that you're seeing between Io Sky and Bianca Belair, Zoe Stark and Natalya. It's all different flavors and all different ingredients that's making this show unique and great. And like, I just love that action-packed ass kicker aspect of what those two big meaty men put on.
I just want to say, like, it probably is what the Big Bang sounded like when the universe came into creation. It probably sounded like Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed locking up. And I just want to say RIP to the little Debbie on the table as Bronson delivered Tsunami onto Braun Strowman. It's okay. We need to break up the Braun. Like, who's got more Braun? Braun, like,
I know.
It trips me up, man. It trips me up.
Too much Braun.
It really is. Not enough Braun. Too much Braun. Then Bronson, like.
Yeah.
Then everyone died at the end of that match. Everyone. Everyone was dead.
Yeah, that's the end. Like everyone
Finn. Seriously, like black screen. It's over.
Oh man, just great stuff. I wanted to make sure I brought this up, but also I wanted to bring up Jey Uso and Braun Breaker and everything that these two men are doing and what they're bringing. I mean, it's going to be awesome stuff. But I want to get your thoughts on this, because this is a tag team, or not a tag team match, but a title match, Intercontinental title match that we talked about for a couple weeks now, where it's like, I don't like what could come from the outcome of it, just because Jey Uso's in a weird spot where he's at, and he's doing a lot of different things. I'll give it to him. He's telling like 2 or 3 different stories, where this conversation was, what do you got for Jey Uso? Jey Uso's like, I got a couple things moving right now. So like, he's starting to get in that mix again. But like, if he don't win this Intercontinental Championship, it's just going to be another conversation of him being main event Jey Uso when he can't get it done. So like, I'm excited for the match. But any outcome, once again, I'm standing on business. I'm saying any outcome I'm not going to be happy with. So what are your thoughts?
When Jey Uso has a fire lit under his ass, his promo game is top notch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, just, he can snatch the breath out of someone's lungs. And just Braun Breaker's responses, they're just so amusing. I'm really liking Braun Breaker the more practice he gets on his promos.
Sure.
I don't want to see anyone lose. I don't want to see anyone lose.
Me neither. I hate it.
I saw some comments on Facebook earlier that I wanted to pick your brain about.
Sure.
And they said Braun Breaker is nothing but speed and strength, and that's he's a one-trick pony. How do you what's your response to that?
They said Braun Breaker was a one-trick pony.
They did,
and it was just so okay. So I guess I want to expand on that because when I see him, I definitely don't see a one-trick pony. I mean, I see somebody who has amazing athleticism, incredible strength. I mean, he can sit up there and do a standing moonsault to his opponent. He could jump up to the very top rope and do a Frankensteiner to an opponent, a hurricane run off the top rope. You know, he can spear you with 23 miles per hour level speed off the ropes. He can, get on the mat with you a little bit if he needs to. He can fly if he needs to. I don't see it. One trick pony and even his promos, like you said, with more run that he's getting a little bit better. I'm sorry, I have to completely disagree with that.
I think we just saw the best promo from Braun Breaker yet.
Yeah,
it was funny and it was impactful.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I mean, no, I don't agree with that. I just don't. I don't see him as a one-trick pony in the slightest bit.
I mean, initially when I saw Braun Breaker, I kind of wrote him off as one of those cheesy beef heads, but
I could see where you would think that, like a knockoff, like, oh, he's just going to be another Ryback or a knockoff Goldberg.
First impressions aside, I'm really excited to see what's coming of Braun Breaker.
For sure. No, I'm excited for sure. He's got a hell of a future ahead of him, but we got one more thing to talk about, and then we're gonna call this a really great episode because we got to talk World Heavyweight Championship and another topic of conversation that came up over there at our friends over on the Window Liquors. That's the conversation of Gunther, Sami Zayn. Where are we at with that? That was a big topic of conversation with them. I guess, what would you like to see there, Annie, with Gunther? Because Gunther is still telling him no. He's still telling Sami Zayn no. You're getting Ludwig Kaiser involved in it there. He's trying to get in. Sami doing his logical thing where he tries to get into people's heads and kind of try to talk some sense into them. Didn't work so much with Ludwig Kaiser. I mean, what do you think? Is Sami the next sensible opponent for Gunther?
Not before he takes out Ludwig.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah. I feel like Sami has to go through. He has to level up before he can enter that arena again.
Yeah.
We know what he's capable of, but at the end of this segment, I saw a fire reignite in Sami.
Yeah.
Because, he is that poster child for the celebrated underdog, but the underdog has to go through trial and trial and trial and trial until they get pissed off enough until they reach that launching pad into the next level.
Yeah.
And I feel like Gunther is expecting an opponent on equal footing. I know Sami is there, but he has to get there again.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because, like, there's still people, like, I think that deserve a shot over Sami, but the difference is they're not focused on the title right now. Like, you're telling me either Drew McIntyre or CM Punk shouldn't be in the conversation for the World Heavyweight Championship? Of course they should. Like, they've been going back and forth. Like, we
almost got it from CM Punk.
Yeah, we almost got it from Punk. What about the time when, I don't know, Damian Priest is going to want to get his get back? You know,
Absolutely.
that time's going to come down the road at some point. We already saw him have a good feud with Randy Orton that resulted in a great match. But, like, there's got to be more opponents down the line. And I think they said it on Window Lickers. You can't just, it was Grun who said it. He said, you can't just ride that one match where you beat Gunther. You got to build yourself back up.
Right.
And I think that that's the story that needs to be told with Sami Zayn. He needs to keep getting no from Gunther, and let that last for a little bit. Let that sizzle a little bit, where he's telling him no, and all the while Gunther's like, oh, well, I'm gonna give somebody more deserving a title shot, and somebody, or even if they wanted to do something, I could see them doing something like this, where he does like a World Heavyweight Championship open challenge, and it's just to kind of mess with Sammy, like mess with him, and they're like, he's like, oh, this is gonna be my greatest opponent yet, and then like somebody like Tozawa comes out, and then he completely destroys Tozawa, and then Sammy comes out and, you know, is just like, hey, do you think this is a joke? And he probably comes to the rescue of Tozawa or something like that, and then Sammy's like, hey, do you think this is a joke? This isn't a game. I really want my shot. Continues to be no, until Sammy picks up some wins, finally beats Little Vic Kaiser, who's like the sub boss or whatever. You know, he's basically like, he's like that one boss that you gotta beat before you get to the big boss in the games and whatnot. So there's that. But yeah, I think there's definitely a story to be told with Sami Zayn, to where he shouldn't get it like now. He definitely should have to earn it.
Because as much as I love Sammy, the motive isn't strong enough for me yet. The believability isn't there for me to even entertain him in the title picture again yet.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay.
I need to see more character development.
For sure. I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. So I want to end it on this, because we're talking about Gunther and everything that he's meant for that World Heavyweight Championship and everything that he's doing. Who's Gunther's next opponent? That's a tough one, I know.
It is, because like you brought up a really good point earlier, like Damian Priest is going to enter it again.
Yep.
But there's so many different things that have to transition in the other storylines that are occurring right now that everyone else is too busy.
They are preoccupied, right? Like,
really
everybody's busy.
It might be Ludwig's first.
Ooh, okay. Okay. You could see that happening?
That makes that, because he's the closest in direct proximity to Gunther, that I think would make sense for another feud to begin.
Yeah, especially if they want to do something. I think they like Ludwig Kaiser a lot too. I think they really do. I keep hearing that backstage they really enjoy his work, and they're really getting behind him.
I think he's entertaining as hell.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he knows exactly who he is. Man, it's so tough to say. It's so tough to say who could be his next opponent, because ideally, man, it shouldn't be. But just for the sake of giving him opponents with the believability that might be able to beat him, I would throw Jey Uso in the mix at some point. I mean, he's one of the most over baby faces in the company. Gunther is one of the most over heels in the company. The only downside to it is, if I'm booking it, Jey Uso's not winning, and that's always gonna be the thing. Like, if I booked it, like it would hurt me to not have Jey Uso win, but Gunther's got to stay champion. So, like, if the next opponent is Jey for that believability factor, I'd be pained, but I'd have to be like, nah, bruh, you gotta lose.
But after a Jey Uso loss, what potential opens up
for Jey Uso?
Yeah. You know, because loss opens up a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know if he. I mean, the thing that obviously makes the most sense is him getting involved in whatever the Bloodline is about to be doing. If you don't want to get involved in that, then maybe he can go for the tag titles with Sami Zayn. I mean, there's that. I mean, could he finally get another shot at the Intercontinental Championship and finally be the one to take it off Breaker? Like you said, there's a lot of opportunities, but I just don't know what the lane is, because it's always like everybody, all the pieces are kind of where they need to be at right now. That's the big thing. Like, you have Gunther, who's the World Heavyweight Champion. He's got to hold that for a while. You got the IC Champion in Braun Breaker. He's got to hold that for a while. So now it's like everybody's waiting for Jey Uso to make this big play, but it's like he can't make this big play yet for the simple fact that everybody is where they need to be at. Right. You know, they're already there. So, like, I don't know. That's kind of where my mind's at with it. It does open up opportunities.
You don't want to just write in someone like Jey Uso as just a bystander. Like, that's not doing him justice, because he is clearly a crowd front runner right now.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree. And we're definitely going to see as the weeks go by, heading up to the next Monday Night Raw. And, man, it's going to be great. But this episode here was great, Annie. We got to slide off here, do our thing. But, of course, before we do that, I want to give you the opportunity to plug anything that you want to plug.
This week on Bumpin' and Thumpin', I will be dropping Chris Moore. An episode with Chris Moore just dropped. I will be Chris promoting Moore. That. Yeah, Alpha Chris Moore. He's a really good friend of mine. I got one with Solo dropping soon. And tomorrow I will be interviewing the amazing Nick Matson. He is a Michigan vet through and through, and his credentials, they hold up. So I got a lot going on. I'm in the works with another podcast that I will be in conjunction with. So I'm doing my part to bring the W to Howse.
Hey,
to the Howse Network. And it just doesn't stop.
It don't.
So what's on deck for you?
Well, I mean, once again, always moving, always busy, as we often are. And, you know, we've got a lot of great shows coming up on the In Your House Network. Of course, the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal, that's going to be dropping. We have episode 2 of Dear Pro Wrestling Paragon. And, of course, this one is going to be featuring Kevin Calloway. He's going to be jumping on that episode. That's going to be great. Watch along action, ECW on Fridays. It's going to be great. That's going to be moving. And actually, do you
have the match set yet? For the watch along?
We're actually going to be watching a full episode of ECW Hardcore TV. We're going to be following some of the storylines, so that's going to be great. I'm excited for that. But also, here soon, I'll be debuting a new show, just a little short block, quick thing, with me upgrading my cable package. I figure I'd be like, I'll check out what AEW is doing. So I'm going to check out AEW, and soon I'll be giving you guys the Dynamite download, a 15-minute AEW Dynamite review. I give you guys some of my thoughts on AEW and everything that they're doing, and we'll see what grows from that. I'm just going to put something out there in the universe and see what happens, and see if that grows into something like what we're doing right here at In Your House, which we're always doing big things at In Your House. Guys, you already know what the vibe is. It's going to be big because we have a big live on location house party that is going down right there. Boom, boom, boom. House party. Survivor Series War Games. Thank you to all our great donating sponsors for making this something excellent. November 30th, Outhouse Records, Kokomo, Indiana. Come join us. Live podcast, live music, independent wrestlers, wrestling costume contest, games, prizes, tons of prizes. Guys, come check it out and everything that we're doing. Guys, you already know the vibes. We're giving you guys all the work that we possibly can give you guys, and that's exactly what's going down, because we absolutely do put the W in house, and that W stands for work. So, for Divinely Designed Annie O'Neal, for Kevin Calloway, for Grunmeister, for The Voice Josh Joseph, for Hypocrisy Jones, for the world's most dangerous podcaster Paragon, I am Alakan, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day, great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con, in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. God's Joseph standing on his positions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast, it's like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke.